Welcome, everybody, to Who's Your Band? I am Jeffrey Paul. I am joined by my co-host. He's wearing a Montreal Expos sweatshirt today, Sean Morton.
I have a Montreal Expos tattoo as well, Jeffrey.
No, you don't.
I do.
Why? Who does that?
Do you know why I did it? We used to do an annual guys trip every year to Montreal, and then one year we all decided to get tattoos to commemorate the 10 years of going. And they're like, I'm getting a maple leaf. I'm getting a maple leaf. I'm like, I ain't getting a fucking maple leaf. So I like baseball, so I got the Expos.
I would have gotten the maple leaf, to be honest with you.
Well, get your generic.
Anyway.
What's our topic today? Bad decisions?
Yes, like me being on this podcast for 6 years.
And that, my friends, that is the voice of our guest today. He is a comic. He's a traveling comic, man. Every time you look, this guy is in Vegas. He's in South Carolina. He's all over the place. Okay. I met him once before down in Florida, down in Boca Raton. And every time I see this guy, I'm like, this is a guy who looks like Sean and I. He's always got a rock t-shirt on, seems to love music. We're going to find out a little bit more about that now. But we welcome to the show, Dougie Almeida. How are you, Doug?
Hey, what's up, guys? Let's go, Jeff and Sean. Yeah, I have my Yes shirt on today. My Yes shirt on today.
Yeah, I mean, usually you're wearing like some type of like, I would say like a hard rock shirt, but I didn't see this coming. Progressive. You're a progressive rock guy?
I like all kinds of stuff. I had 3 older brothers growing up, so I listened to everything from like Queen, Aerosmith, Grand Funk Railroad, Iron Maiden. Well, that was actually later, but Black Sabbath, you name it, But Yes was in there, and when I get shirts to wear on stage, just to draw away from the stomach, I like to get shirts that have like an emblem around the chest, just to kind of.
I gotta say that's a nice. That's a nice one.
Yeah. I don't wear anything else. That's the problem. That's all I wear. I wear concert shirts. I go to dinner with a girl. I wear a concert shirt. I go to an office meeting. I wear a concert shirt. Just don't change shit.
You're looking at two guys, exact same person.
I have 187 rock shirts from concerts. How many do I wear on the regular? 6.
Exactly.
But the thing I remember about Doug, when I met him in Florida, he was wearing a great Kiss shirt.
Oh yeah, I don't have any. Of course, this is.
What do you got?
AC/DC.
How many AC/DC shirts do you have, Sean?
Oh, me? None.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to have at least a dozen AC/DC shirts.
Nah, I'm not a monster fan.
I like that. I don't have. I like that. I like the one you got on too.
Yeah, this is one that. I got a few Kiss shirts, but this is the one. Everybody, can you read it?
The Cult.
The Cult.
Oh, I love the Cult. Yeah.
That's a band I can get behind. Not Yes.
You don't like this one.
I don't like that progressive shit. I never did. I mean, I love Dream Theater. Don't get me wrong, but like Dream Theater, you can go to a concert and they play for 2.5 hours and it's 4 songs.
So,
you know what I mean?
But you hear Yes, a song like "Heart of the Sunrise." That doesn't get you like psyched up.
I know "Owner of a Lonely Heart." That's the only Yes song that I know.
That's new stuff.
As a Yes fan, is that really a Yes song?
It's kind of like that came out in the 80s, right? That came out after they kind of reemerged from their original stuff.
Yeah. In fact, that came out after I believe, it was after Asia had come out. I remember Asia had a couple of guys from Yes in it as well, and then they get back together and they come up with like this pop version of Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there was everybody learned to play that guitar on their guitar. It was a 3/4 progression.
I mean, good song, but I mean, when you listen to songs like, again, "Heart of the Sunrise," "Roundabout," I even like stuff off of Drama, which was one of my favorite. A song like "Tempest Fugit." I mean, these were great. Yes, I mean, those were real classic progressive rock songs. I thought "Owner of a Lonely Heart" was kind of like it was a big top 40 hit too.
Yeah,
that wasn't really.
No, I mean, but again, that's when I was introduced to them. That was like '85. That was my MTV era. So that's the only. That's one of those bands that I didn't go backwards with. I knew the hits like Rush. My hatred for Rush.
That man.
Yeah, I can't stand them. Yeah, I listened to like the stuff that came out in the '90s, like Coal Fire, those kind of songs. But I never went back to fucking Tom Sawyer and Spirit of the Radio and that shit.
You don't like Spirit of the Radio?
No, I hate that song. I told you why.
About the temples of Syrinx and
fucking stuff.
Now you're losing me.
No, that's 2112. That's phenomenal.
I couldn't tell you.
What's your hatred for Spirit of Radio? Oh, wait, the way you're trying to play it on the guitar?
Yeah, because I had to learn it for a friggin' high school band competition. Friggin' kid bailed on singing the thing. So I spent 3 months learning how to play this stupid fucking song, and I didn't have to play it.
Oh, it's so good. You like Limelight?
No.
You don't like Limelight?
No, I'm not a fan. If I never heard another Rush song the rest of my life, I'd be completely content.
I don't get that. You're so music.
I do.
Music. It blows my mind that you're not a
dude. Look, we are very different in certain ways. You will die on that hill, and I'd say I'd rather go see Bruno Mars than go see a Rush in concert.
Oh my god,
crazy! Doug, help me out here, man. Rush, do you like Rush?
Yeah, I like Rush. I mean, as a musician, I play guitar and sing. I still sing. I don't play guitar anymore because my hands are all messed up. But Neil Peart, one of the best drummers around, ever. I always respect like Geddy Lee being able to sing and play. Anybody who could play the guitar and sing or strum and sing has always been good. It's a 3-piece band. They were pretty powerful.
I could play guitar and sing, but I could not play bass and sing.
Why? Is bass easier?
Not really. It's a little different. Like you can play an acoustic guitar and sing, and that's pretty much that's pretty normal. I could not get the hang of singing and playing bass at the same time.
I tried it. Yeah, I couldn't do it. When I played the band, I played a little bass because somebody would fill in for that kind of stuff. But bass is more of a thumping and more of a picking, where the guitar you can strum, it's kind of get into a rhythm and sing. But good bass, you're like trying to thump it and finger it, in a sense. So yeah, I can see the difference.
Doug, did you get more into what did you get into first, comedy or music?
Oh, music. I was a kid, and my mother sang opera. She was like a theater and stuff in Europe, and so she would always have us sing. I learned to play. I played flamenco guitar, and I do all that kind of stuff. But comedy came late. I mean, I loved comedy. My dad was one of those guys that always made people laugh. But I was, I loved Dangerfield, the showcases and HBO and all, loved it. But music was always I was the guy who would act, I was Ace Frehley for Halloween maybe a dozen times.
Really? Was Kiss your first band?
The first band as a kid, like, a couple of buddy of mine love it. And we, of course, we dressed on Halloween. We drew them, we drew the Kiss logo on everything. Just the theatrics of it. I saw them when I was young. I think I was like 11 years old. My brother took me to see them.
Where were you from originally?
Queens, New York.
I had the feeling you were a New York guy because when I was down there, like you knew Bob DeBruno. I think you knew Zach McCarthy. This was a stacked show. It was a really good show. Remember, you knew Gina Savage.
Yeah.
So you started out in New York. Queens is like, man, this was Kiss. Were you in a band right away, like in high school, college?
In high school, we had a band called. You would laugh at this. You're talking about music and the variances. So we played. I was in a band where I'd strum. I was a rhythm guitar player, and I would sing backup. Like we would play. Ozzy. We'd play. Not Rush. I'm blanking on a few things, but like Def Leppard and stuff like that. But you'll never guess a band that I was the lead singer in, and I probably got more ass than I ever got in my life. But we played cover of Prince.
Prince.
Yeah,
Well, you look
band,
like him.
yeah, thanks. It's funny. Yeah, I usually get stopped in the street like, "Hey, aren't you that?"
Wasn't a tribute band apparently.
No, but back in high school, it's funny. I just posted something on Facebook from some high school photos, but I had like longer, curly hair, like Jim Morrison hair, and the band was called Sightless Cry, and I sing. I got the pretty good octaves for it, and we were playing around, the song, and I was playing "Let's Go Crazy" kind of thing, trying to lead and trying to get to the. And I says, "Man, that'd be great." The guys, "That'd be great if we could play this." One guy said, "Man, we could get the girls if we could play Prince." And like none of us can sing Prince, and like I can sing Prince, and like not all the all this stuff. But so they were like, "Yeah, like well, let's do it." I ended up getting a blue trench coat. I got white high heel shoes. Put some buttons on my pants. Yeah, it was everything.
Do you have pictures of this somewhere?
Yeah, I got a picture. It's like me in a blue suit with a white scarf, or blue suit, a purple suit with a white scarf and shit. We played at some, and I think it was a school dance. We played some. Yeah, crazy. Dude.
That's Sean has a Prince tattoo.
I do. It's on the same arm as my Montreal Expos tattoo.
Wow, what a collection!
Yeah, I'm pretty. I have really bad prison tattoos on a lot of them. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say, what's next to that? A Cabbage Patch doll?
Oh, that's not a bad. I would fucking do. You know what? I know what's next.
You should be like Bon Jovi and get yourself a Superman tattoo.
Oh God, so gross.
Yeah, Superman tattoo or Batman logo.
Oh God, I'm actually trying to get something for Adam because I'm a little inspired. So, Adam, I'm going to send you a link in about 15 minutes or so, and we're going to play "Let's Embarrass Sean" tonight, since we have a fellow musician on our show tonight. I have a video from probably 1997 of me with my band.
No.
Yes.
Doug, we've been doing this show for over 6 years. Okay? We have gone up and down the gamut. We've had all our friends on. This has never come up.
Oh wow.
I'm inspired tonight.
Wow. This is
I'm going to send it to Adam right now, actually.
You never know. Doug, when did you decide to go into comedy? You're in a band, you're wearing Prince shoes and jacket, you're wearing your hair weird, but you're getting girls. Okay. When do you say, hey, I'm not a musician, I'm a comedian? When do you make that jump?
Late, man. I was I always did stuff like I played soccer competitively and all that stuff, and then once I couldn't play, I started trying to find other things to do. I started acting. And I was one of these fortunate people. The first few things I auditioned for, I got. So I was caught in it. What's that?
What'd you get? What were we in?
Oh, I was in. I did a couple Shakespeare plays. Believe it or not, I did. I was in a Nissan commercial. I was in a cheese commercial. I did a few things like that, and did a few things like that. But the actual bug in comedy came from. I think it was in 1990, a few years I worked for a investment company, and I did retirement seminars, in front of a few hundred people. A company called Hartford Financial, if I heard of. So I ended up doing these retirement seminars, and I would just go off script because I'm a financial advisor. I still do it for 35 years. So they'd give me an outline of stuff you would talk about. I'm like, I'm not doing an outline. I'm going to go through. So I ended up would add comedy, as I naturally would, to anything I did. So, make people laugh. And so, yes, I'm in New York doing a Merrill Lynch conference one day, and this guy comes up to me. He's like, dude, you should be doing comedy. I'm like, what? I go, dude, I make $500,000 a year. I'm not going to go do comedy, And he's like, well, and I always wanted to, And, that was it. That kind of gave me the bug. And then, that was probably.
When did you do your first open mic?
First open mic was probably at the New York Comedy Club in Boca Raton, Florida. I actually got started in South Florida when I did comedy.
Did Al Martin own it at the time?
No, he by then he was out, and it was Howard and I'm trying to remember the last names, but they were partners for a while. Then Al got out of it. I remember talking to Al about that too. Yeah. We moved out of New York when I was like 6 years old. And I would, go back in the summers every once in a while.
You got like you carry yourself kind of like a New York comic.
Yeah, it's funny. I live in Vegas. I have a house in Vegas now, and in let me shut that off. And in South Carolina, I still have the house there. But so it's funny because when I'm in Vegas, everybody's like, "Oh, the East Coast comic," because it's a different style than the West Coast.
Oh, big time, big time. I can remember doing shows out in California and just sticking out like a fucking sore thumb.
Absolutely.
Just everywhere you go. I mean,
but like I did back in the day when John Lovitz owned the comedy club in LA. I did a weekend there, and like, it was decent material, like nothing like out of the ordinary. I wasn't getting shit, and there were people who were just doing this like hacky fucking impressions and just like weird noises, like fucking George Gallo. Like just doing these weird, quirky fucking noises, and people were losing their shit. And I was like, dude, I do not fucking belong here in the least bit.
I think the biggest difference between a New York comic and like not transplant, but California comics are California comics, I think, use comedy more as a vehicle for the next thing, where I think New York comics use it just to be comics. Yeah. And I remember being out in California, and there was this girl on stage, and she was doing the darkest stuff. She was doing shit about rape and incest, and the audience was not feeling it. It wasn't funny. And she was like going off on me, and she's like, "You don't get it because you're not deep, man. You're not deep." And it's like, they're not getting it because you're not funny.
Yeah.
You want to be a writer. You don't want to be a stand-up comic.
Nothing irks me more, especially somebody who produces shows, when somebody loses it and starts blaming the audience, and it's just like, I was just sharing, I don't know if you're a buddy of mine named Steve Mudflap McGrew. He's been around forever. I remember that one of the first times I witnessed that difference. Like, I think I was at the Looney Bin in Oklahoma City or in Tulsa, and the MC goes up and he just eats a dick, right? He's just not connecting with the audience at all. So I go up, and I kind of got them here and there. I have those sets where they're laughing, they stop, and it's like trying to mow the lawn with an old lawnmower. It just doesn't stay started. You got to keep revving it up. And sure enough, I'm like, wow, they're hard. They're not easy audience. They're tight. And he goes up, first 2 minutes crushes the whole set. And I walked up to the MC and I go, it wasn't the audience. It's the level because and it's like I had a conversation with somebody recently because I'm in that transition. I feature for people, a big opening act, and I'll headline, B rooms and stuff. And I was talking to a younger comic who's like, well, I got 45 minutes. I'm like, that doesn't make you a headliner because you go headline and somebody opens up before you and they come in and they destroy. And if you can't follow, you're done. That room is never going to book you again. That's the worst feeling in the world when somebody goes up and just destroys and you can't follow.
It's funny when guys like, there's no rhyme or reason to it. All of a sudden, I know some comics will just wake up and say, you know what? I'm a headliner now. What? You're not selling tickets on your name. You don't have a strong 45 to an hour. But all of a sudden, you just felt, you know what? I see that Dougie is a headline. I'm a headliner now, too.
I think it's an ego thing, too. I think a lot of it plays into the ego. And I was actually talking about this before. I've let a lot of that shit go, because I got to that point, too, where I would like only start taking gigs when I was closing the gigs, And now I'm just like, I'm having fun. Now I want to just start having fun with it again. So I'm hosting a show out in friggin' Lancaster. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be flying out of Florida to Middle. You know what I mean? Like I don't give a shit anymore. And I'm personally enjoying it a lot more. Jeff makes fun of me because like he sees my calendar's a lot lighter than his is. But I don't know, dude. This is probably the most fun I'm going to be having in comedy in fucking 18 years.
I get at that crossroads too. With Doug, because I'll feature, I'll headline B rooms, but like sometimes you see people who you broke in, and they're crushing it, and it's just like it's just something. It's a a confident. I don't know, Doug. Would you say it's a confidence killer, or it gives you a crisis of confidence? Because you start to question, what the fuck am I doing here? And
Well,
then yeah, good.
I just had a lot early. I thank God I had a lot of people that cared and gave me good advice, And I think all of us have heard it. Don't ever compare yourself to somebody else. We're all on our own path, And like for me, I think I'm in my 17th, 18th year now. And Rich Voss, is a good friend. So years ago, Rich tells me, he goes, there's going to come a day where you're not telling jokes. You're saying things that are funny. And I remember that. And I think the first joke I ever wrote after that was I used to come on stage and go, I'm in a good mood because I fit in this shirt. And it's not even a joke. It's just something you're saying. I was about 50 pounds heavier. So I was like, you know what I mean? It's you think of Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle doesn't really tell jokes. He talks about shit and he makes it real funny, right? We're wordsmiths,
Right.
But
did he start that way though, and just evolve into it? Because he's like in this category of celebrity comics. And when you watch some of his stuff, it's not like drop dead funny. Like when you maybe watch, I don't know, I like Out Here. I still like watching Mark Norman and Sam Morril. I still find them to be really funny.
Sam, man. Sam's awesome, dude. Look at how big he blew up. A great example is like Mike Vecchione. Mike Vecchione is probably one of the best joke writers I've ever met. He's and I remember years ago because I'd worked with him a lot, and he used to come to do the Tabellino's room a lot because his family lived in South Florida, so we get to see him come down. And I remember it was a period like you'd watch him, and he's just as funny as anybody, if not even funnier.
Vecchione, amazing.
Yeah, but he wasn't getting he wasn't getting the credit. How do you say it? He just wasn't getting the heat. And you see other people, and you're like, but then he started picking up, and that's weird, right? Like you said, like I worked with Steve Trevino. I was just with him at the Fort Lauderdale Improv this past weekend. I'm one of his openers. So there's a guy that people come to see. Like the shows are sold out. They come to see him. It's not like, not like you go to a comedy club and like people are going to the comedy club because there's a show. Oh, who's here this weekend? Versus right. That's a big difference, right? To have that following. But yeah, man. So he was, he started, and I just noticed I'm so happy for him over the last few years because he started breaking through that ceiling, right? I think it's, and Sean said it, if you're happy, you're having a good time with it. If you're worried about it, it's when younger comics, newer comics come up and they're like, hey, when can I start making money? I'm like, well, when you have an act, and if that's what you're worried, that's what you're worried about, you're in the wrong business. I mean, you should be doing this for the money. You really should be doing this because you love it, and that's it. And eventually, everything should work after that.
Yeah, man, it's for me. I find it easier said than done. Do you know Kevin Israel, Doug?
I know the name. I can't picture in the face now.
I mean, Sean knows him. He's a Jersey comic, and he's around our age. And we were just talking about this, and he basically said the same thing that Sean was saying. Just enjoy where you are now. And I say this to people who get upset as well, because it's like you're always going to want to be somebody, but you know what? Somebody's always going to want to be you. They're going to see what you have going on, and so you do have to enjoy the journey. But at the same time, you're like, man, how do you get over that hump? How do you take it to that next level? How do you write better? How do you change? Because the times are changing so fast.
Yeah.
And then how do you talk and write true? I mean, and what I mean by that is like I don't really do politics in what I talk about. I just find it too divisive. But sometimes you got to comment on it, and my point of view may not be the popular point of view.
Yeah, I would tell you recently a major event in my life. Like I lost my wife 2 years ago, and that now is part of my act. We talk about darkness and stuff. I tell a joke now. It's like, the last time I was single, I was 26 years old. I kept thinking, why couldn't my wife have passed away when I was in better shape? But the weird thing about that material is, again, think about what Voss had told me. I recently worked with somebody who's really funny. This person's been doing comedy for 30 years, and him and I were switching off. Like we'd go first and then we'd go second. Like in the whole weekend, we were flip flopping. And I'm a bit intimidated because I'm like, oh shit, if somebody goes up front of you and crushes, you're always like, oh shit, I gotta, I don't want to act like I don't want to follow. I don't want to fuck up and not follow that. But it was interesting because after the show, people would say, hey, yeah, that person was very funny, but at the same time, everything you talked about was about you, and I got to know you. And that's something I learned from Steve Trevino. He talks about his family, he talks about his kids, he talks about everything, And when people leave, people will leave a show and they'll either say, "Oh, that guy was funny." I don't really remember his jokes, but I just remember he was funny. Whereas you can leave a show and they'll say, "Oh, that's the guy who lost his wife," and he talks about dating for the first, and they'll know who you are. And I feel personally, like in the last 6 months that I've been doing this newer material, that the following has increased because people relate to it. There's a relatability to it that makes a big difference, right? And like Steve,
relatability, it's also a vulnerability that you're willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Well, it's also different because I went through something not as similar, but my wife got sick, about 10 years ago. And then when it happened, I jumped into some dark material. And I used to have a room that I used to work at twice a year. I'd get a half an hour on a Sunday, work out all new shit. And it was a half an hour of some really dark shit. And when I got off the stage, the lady who ran the place, who was like my comedy mom, she went to me and she goes, "I know exactly where you're going with that, and you're nowhere near ready to do it." Because I didn't give myself the time to like process what was actually going on. Yeah. And then once I did that, and then I was able to spin some humor into it, that was some of the strongest material I ever did in 18 years.
It's interesting. It's really funny when somebody tries to tell a joke about cancer, for example, really tough topic. You really have to be funny with it, and they'll try it. And it's just horrible. Talking about death is not easy. The loss of a loved one. But it's funny. Where does the normal culture of a joke I haven't worn a condom in 30 years. I've been with my wife. I was married 18 with over 12, 30 years. So it's a reality. It's a true story. I'm doing a gig in the Bahamas in Atlantis a few months after she passed. And I'm depressed. I'm crying because she used to come to me with me on that trip. So everything was a reminder. I called a mentor of mine and I said, "Hey, I think I'm going to cancel the rest of the shows because I'm just depressed. I'm losing it." And he says to me, "Doug," he goes, "Are there professional women there?" I'm like, "I'm at the Atlantis Casino. There's professional women everywhere." And you know what I'm talking about. And he says, "Well,
no, what are you talking about?"
A professional woman.
Archers, Jeff. They're fucking archers. Yeah.
Yeah, they're artists. But and sure enough, he goes, "Get one tonight. Just get one and just do what you need to do." And so from that, a condom joke came. That's the first time I wore a condom in 30 years. So, you think of the simplicity. I think one of the biggest things we try, and I notice I've done, is we try to write a perfect joke. We're trying so hard to write the joke, the setup, the everything and the punch. But sometimes a joke can be amazingly funny just by the simplicity of it. Right. It's like,
right.
Definitely.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I'll look in the audience. I'll see an older guy and a couple. And I go, "Hey, when's the last time you wore a condom? You were probably waiting for a milk delivery, and that's a simple little subtle thing, but people relate to it. All of a sudden you're sitting there trying to write this incredible, joke. And it sometimes we try a lot harder than just really coming up with, some things that relate to you, and obviously relate to other people. So, I think that's a big part of it. And I think the people that are really doing well have found that, right? I mean, you mentioned Sam Morril. I love Sam Morril, and he's amazingly funny, right? A lot of crowd work, quick-witted, and and he relates stuff to his own. But I mean, that to me is a different guy because he's just writing incredibly funny jokes, and just perfect writing and smart, But it's just different.
What's one joke that you've heard? What's one joke that you've heard that you just said to yourself, "God damn it, I could never write a joke that good"?
Wow.
I heard one. The reason I'm saying that, I heard one the other day. and I read it. And I read this thing like 8 times. And I said, motherfucker, I should just hang it up because I can't write anything. I can't believe I was gay and dyslexic. I was in Daniel.
Look how uncomfortable it is. That's the big joke.
Do you get it, Jeff?
Yeah, it's I don't. You think that made you want to quit comedy?
No, I said that's a fucking brilliant joke.
You should follow that advice then. Quit.
We were doing so good.
Listen, we got through a half hour before the insults start flying.
Okay, listen. If we're going to start insulting, right? If we're going to start insulting, I will take a beating tonight for this video that I sent.
Oh, you got it?
Oh, I sent it to Adam.
Let's do this. Let's watch Sean's video.
Now hold on. Let me preface it.
And then I got you guys.
This is probably 1990, somewhere between late 1996 to late 1997.
Okay, so this is a time where it's like basically like grunge, right? 90s still
End
has
of grunge, kind of the new metal era was coming in, like the Korn, Deftones, all that kind of era.
Limp Bizkit. All right, are you trying to sing in that style?
I don't know what I'm actually trying to sound like. All I know is that I never used my own voice singing. I always tried to mimic something, and that was the reason why I never did well with it. And now if I did it now, I'd be a lot better because I know what my natural singing voice is.
Did you have flannel tied around your waist?
I think I have my band's baseball jersey on because we had baseball jerseys made.
I wish it was a plastic bag over your head.
Now the thing is, on this show, I completely fell off the stage, even though it was only about 4 inches. Only about 3 or 4 inches off the ground. This was an old bar in the back of a bowling alley that lost its liquor license, so it became an all ages club. So anybody, my guitar player was like 3 years younger than me. My bass player was 3 years younger than me. So these are the only places I can get them booked at.
What's the name of
like COP? I have that tattooed on the same arm as my Prince and my.
What does COP stand for?
Well, that was the ongoing joke, Jeff. It was it changed all the time. It was Children of Pain. It was Center of Poverty. It was Corky on Prozac.
Dougie, you don't want to come here and just karate kick him in the chin, don't you? Holy Children of Pain, man. You don't get it. You don't get the hurt that Sean was feeling inside with Children of Poverty as well. It's an ever-changing, fluid name of a band. Oh.
I was very deep back then, Jeff.
You were very deep.
I'm not this vapid twat that's been talking to you for 6 years.
Adam, you showed this video. I haven't seen it yet. I'm getting douche chills.
It's really bad.
Well, this is the perfect theme of the night: vulnerability.
Right.
You look like, first of all, who does he look like? You look like a guy, like maybe like a Papa Roach. Like, don't they have isn't like the bass player like a big guy?
Yeah, but I also had hair then.
Yeah. Is it also, am I looking at sideburns?
Oh yeah, I had Jameson mutton chops for a while.
I was gonna say, you look like you got some big mutton chop sideburns.
I did.
As a guitar player, you trying to be Tom Morello?
No, he that's my best friend in the world. Had no stage presence of anything. He was so laser focused. And
you look pigeon-toed in that. You look like you're pigeon-toed in that photo.
Well, I kind of am, but that's the mic stand, which is being engulfed by my large frame at that point.
We have gotten through 0 seconds of this video so far.
We haven't even started.
But I will tell you one thing. I will say this one thing. Had I recorded this song professionally and properly in 1997, this would have been a hit.
This was a single?
This was my single. This is my Stairway to Heaven.
All right. Adam, play a little bit of this, please.
Next one is called
The drummer is like the drummer from Hootie and the Blowfish. None of you guys look like you should be in the same band.
Right?
I'm just walking across the stage.
I'm feeling the vibe right here.
What's on your shirt, Sean? Does it say COP?
Yeah.
Hold on for a second, Adam. Hold on. Wait, for with the wah wah.
It sounds like a chorus switch.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like they're just still tuning up. But is it a douchey move to wear your band's name? I'm just asking hypothetically. Is it a douchey move to wear your band's name on your T-shirt?
Yeah. Fucking A, it was. I was a fucking douche back then. Of course it was a douchey move.
I don't know. I mean, something like Maiden could pull it off. Like Dave Murray wears the cutoff. Steve Harris wears the cutoff shirt of Maiden. They're running around, and it looks cool on them.
Yeah, which he had from like a multi-million-dollar corporation making his fucking T-shirts for him. I had to spend $42 a piece at the goddamn place in Bayonne to get these things made for my band.
Well, you're the only one wearing it.
Yeah, we coordinated.
Okay, let's continue. It looks like you guys are playing on a pool table.
That's the stage I fell off of.
Is your hair red, or is that from the light?
It's the light.
Okay.
It's
Your hair red.
Uh-oh.
Your stage presence is amazing.
Oh, dude, it was so terrible. It's a fucking jelly roll version 1.0.
Doing the fingers. Here's like a talking now. Oh, right, stop. It's not a bad song.
It sounds like the elevator just reached the floor.
Yeah,
Like,
Doug, you're a musician. What do you think of this?
Well, yeah, obviously, let's be honest. I mean, the quality of the video at this point is not, it's not great, obviously.
Yeah, you know what that is? That's the hard camera from the corner that they would charge you $25 for back in the day when you would play a band show. And they say, oh, we recorded your show for you. And they had it like on a little small circuit, little fucking camera this big. And it manages to last fucking 30 years.
Yeah, no, for that quality,
That's shit.
It is funny. It does look like you're on a pool.
I just wanted to give Jeff a little tease. That's all I wanted to do.
It does look like you're on a pool table, though. That is fun.
Yeah. It was. Trust me, when I fell off, it was about the size of a pool table.
Yeah,
that wasn't the only stage I fell off of, though. When it was in the band, I think I told you that, right?
No, who are you, Coleman Green?
So there was a place called the Rec Room. It was in Wallington, New Jersey. It was a real big rock club, right? We like nowadays you would get like a lot of like the 80s or 90s like hair metal bands or the new metal bands. That's a couple like 1,000-seater. We were one of their house bands, so they would book us for like all kinds of like opening acts for bigger bands, whatever. So we got booked for opening for a band called DRI, who was like a hardcore punk band, and that just was not our vibe at all. And so I was like, we got to open up with our heaviest shit because otherwise we're going to lose them real quick. And I did the whole, are you ready? And I put my foot on the fucking monitor and I missed completely. And the stage was, I would say at a minimum 4.5 to 5 feet off the ground. And I was like Moses parting the Red Seas, this 450-pound fat fuck flying off the fucking stage face first onto the ground and completed the whole show too.
Were you bleeding?
I think I busted my nose. Yeah, it was really fucking horrible.
Rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll. Hey, listen, before we have to wrap this up, I have a few questions, things in the news. Want to get you guys' opinion on it. And this is, again, pertaining to music. So first off, there's an ongoing debate. I don't know if you read Blabbermouth or any of the online rock publications, but one of the debates going on is 80s. I'm sorry, it is supergroups through the decades. So in the 2000s, who's the better supergroup? Is it Audio Slave or is it Velvet Revolver?
Wow.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah, I like Velvet Revolver.
I think personally, I love Velvet Revolver, but I think Audio Slave was the better band.
I mean, I tend to agree with Sean. I mean, it is tough. I mean, you go talent-wise, I mean,
here's how I look at it from the musician point of view, right? You take Velvet Revolver. If you take Scott Weiland out of that band and just put Axl in that band, it's Guns N' Roses again. If you have Audio Slave and you take out Chris Cornell and you put Zach De La Rocha, guess what? It ain't Audio Slave anymore. That's Rage Against the Machine. It's a completely different band with the singer. Where I think that Velvet Revolver was basically the same kind of vibe, same kind of band with just a different singer.
I mean, it's both. They're both really good. They both have hits. I mean, I just tend to kind of gravitate more towards Audio Slave. I think probably what puts over the top for me is Chris Cornell.
Yeah, he's an amazing vocalist. You know?
Yeah, especially in that band. I mean, in a song like a Stone, when you hear that gravel, and then Morello comes in with his trickery on the guitar. I mean, that's just a beautiful blend, man, of just like hard rock. That is so good.
I was always a fan of Chris Cornell, but I didn't realize just how monstrous he was until I was out in L.A. when he was getting buried, and they had the memorial in the cemetery. And then I'm telling you, there was 3,000 people inside the cemetery, all just sitting around playing guitars, doing all kinds of Audio Slave and Soundgarden songs. And let me tell you, it blew me away. I did a real deep dive of his solo stuff after I did that, after I experienced that. And he's one of the guys I think that if they say if you can bring one person back who died prematurely, I'd probably bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, look at the bands that were those like 90s grunge type of bands, Pearl Jam and I wouldn't even say Alice in Chains is.
No, they're a metal band. They're a metal band.
I mean, I think I have a hard time. I guess Cornell is the better singer, but man, Alice in Chains, Lane Staley is just fucking perfect.
Lane Staley is amazing, and then when you take him out of the equation and you realize that a lot of his sound is also Jerry Cantrell's harmonies on Alice in Chains, and you realize that's what really makes the band, because the songs themselves are still holding up, but with William Duvall singing them, they're just different with a different vocalist. But
the great song. Is there a better opening riff in the 90s than Man in the Box?
And it's so simple.
It doesn't make a difference. I mean, that's like a great joke. The greatest jokes can just be a couple of lines, and the least amount of words. I mean, I think it's such a great hook, and it's so dark, and it's just such a great introduction into who Alice in Chains is.
Would you like me to ruin the song for you forever?
Oh no! What do you got? Is he a band doing a cover?
No, it's on my bathroom mix, and I only play my bathroom mix when I'm naked in the shower. So when you think of that song now, you might have a flash in your head that it's me.
I'll switch to Wood.
It's on there too. Continue.
So what do you guys think about this? Poison. It has canceled their 2006 summer tour because Bret Michaels is demanding 600% more than the rest of the members of the band. Anyone care about this?
Do you know why he could do that?
Why does he? Well, I think he's the guy who kind of kept the name going. The same reason I think the Eagles, kind of like looked to freeze out Don Felder and Timothy B. Schmidt. Henley and Fry during their hiatus kind of kept the name alive with their solo careers. Right. I think that's the same reason.
Poison goes to play PNC Arts Center, and it's 15,000 people, and they'll sell it out. Bret Michaels goes there. He sells out 15,000 seats on his own.
That's right.
Doing the Poison songs. keeping all the money. Keeping all the money. So I understand. I don't agree in the least bit.
Hold on a second. I've been to the last two Bret Michaels. I like Bret Michaels. I like Poison, but that's not why I'm going. I mean, I'm going because he brings great special guests. He had Dee Snider. He had Lou Gramm from Foreigner. He had Steve Algeri from who sang with Journey. He had the guy from Sugar Ray. He has all these great special guests. He has great opening bands. It's a great summer tour. I think if he toured now and said, I'm just doing a Bret Michaels band, he's not selling 15,000 seats.
Well, he does. He'll do like one of those combo things with like Bret Michaels with, say, like Tesla and Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Okay. Plus, there's distinctiveness of him. Like, C.C. DeVille was the guitar player. He had a bit of a distinctive sound, but that's it, right? I mean, there's nothing else. I mean, everybody else could be replaced without, you can't replace his voice. You can't replace his persona on stage. It's the thing about a front man, right? It's like, that you can find, there's only so many guitar players that are distinctive. Like Tom Morello is obviously very unique, but everybody had their own sound. Slash, of course, Jimmy Page, and Eddie Van Halen and Yngwie Malmsteen. These are all people that had their own distinctive sound. Like, can a guitar player play the same as them? I love Sammy Hagar. You know what I mean? I think as a business person, as somebody who survived rock and roll, that's why you mentioned one of my favorite bands is Van Halen, because here's a band that you had two successful lead singers. I don't care which one you like best. I mean, David Lee Roth is much better. I mean, music-wise, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I saw them both. I mean, David Lee Roth was a much better stage show because of the stage presence. Because Sammy Hagar is not the same on stage. He'll play, but he also plays guitar and adds that part of it. To the band.
He's great on stage too. He's just not standing. He's not Rick Ocasek.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that was one thing I love that band, because there were two distinctive sounds. You know what I mean? There were just two, real. And of course, you have the combination of Eddie Van Halen, his drums, and Alex Van Halen, and Eddie Van Halen. That combination, that music, and then you had that distinctive sound of, David Lee Roth, who seems like he's making up the words as he sings it. It's like, you ever listen to the lyrics of Van Halen, you're like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Like, you know what I mean?
I think Michael Anthony doesn't get the flowers that he deserves a lot too, because.
100%. I mean, great bass player, great backing vocal.
Probably the best. I think one of the best backing vocals of any hard rock band of all time.
Yeah, I remember reading an article when Sammy Hagar was playing with them, and he was saying, it's like, I got to squeeze my nuts to help Sammy back him up. Where with David, I was just supporting him more. I was kind of covering some of the elements of his voice.
But Doug, you're right. They have two totally distinctive styles with the two different lead singers. Like, there's nothing that Hagar does that sounds anything like Unchained or Mean Streets, and then there's nothing that really that Roth can do, like When It's Love, or even making fun of Hagar because Roth said everything ended with love, but they were great songs. Why Can't This Be Love? Love Walks In.
I love that. If I just want to change my mood, I put Pound Cake. I'm like, just that opening.
Great opening. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I use that to come on stage a lot of times, just because of that little the slide, that electric, that drill sounding noise, man, is, that's just a great. But the lyrics were a little tighter. Obviously the vocals a little stronger. But to me, that was just great. Where you had a band that you lose the lead singer, that's it. You know what I mean? That's it. It's hard to come back. And then but they found it. I mean, Gary Sharon did an album with them that was horrible, Extreme. But
nobody acknowledged that record. It wasn't a bad. It really wasn't a bad record. It just didn't fit. He just didn't fit.
Yeah, not at all.
Sean, you can make fun of me on this. Doug, like when you do a club where they bring you up to music, and they ask you what song you want to go up to. You know what song I pick? It's a Van Halen song. I like Dreams. because you get Sean, you're living our dreams. Yeah.
You know what I do? I do cult of personality by Living Color.
Yeah.
Oh, you CM Punk?
That's the reason why I do it.
You're such a man child.
My opening song to this day, though, is it's like, if I have to think about it, it's the theme to Sopranos.
That's what you go up to?
Yeah, it starts off, we'll cook this morning, and then just walk out. Because I do a whole bit about everybody thinks I'm Italian, but I'm actually from Spain, so it's kind of funny. A lot of stuff I open with.
You know what comic and song fit perfectly? When he used to live here, I was very tight with Dustin Chafin, and we sometimes we would work clubs together on the road. And when they would bring him up, he would go up to Pantera's "Cowboys from Hell." And if you know Dustin, he had the cowboy hat, got like the attitude, and it was like a perfect song for him to come out to.
Do you know my song was that I walked out to at the wedding?
To your wedding?
It was half the Godfather theme, and then the record scratch, and it went into "Walk" by Pantera.
Anytime there's a record scratch, it's douchey.
Yeah, I had purposely put the record scratch in. Yep.
Oh no, what's coming now?
But wait, there's more. I think on that note.
Awesome. No, I got two more.
Oh, you got two more?
Yeah, I got two more things.
All right.
I'm going to say the last one because I want to get Doug's opinion on this. I think I know where he's going to go. But the first one, what do you guys think about these rumors about Metallica possibly doing a residency over in Vegas at the Sphere? Right by you, Doug. Would you go?
I think it'd be foolish not to. I think there's very few metal rock bands that can pull off playing inside the Sphere.
Yeah,
I think they have the visuals to pull that off, and the fan base those will sell out.
Oh my God! I may have to do a road trip on that.
I might be joining you.
Yeah, that's a bad. I still haven't been there. I live off and on there, like 2 months on and off. I haven't been there yet. I am going to see Sammy Hagar when he's in Vegas.
You didn't see U2 or Backstreet Boys?
I didn't catch the Backstreet Boys. I didn't. No, I wouldn't say. But I wanted to see U2, but I just didn't ever make it. But a few of my friends went, and they said it was just amazing. I've seen U2. I've seen U2 probably more than any other band. I think I've seen them like 6 or 7 times.
Last time I saw them, great. They did the whole Joshua Tree.
I saw that. I saw Zooropa. I saw. Oh man, I remember one time it was so funny. My buddies and we all went the old Hollywood Sportatorium in Fort Lauderdale, and we went to see them. And my buddy was driving his dad's work truck. It didn't have seats. It's just a white van, and we had patio chairs. We're sitting, we're driving. We're all getting drunk. We got a cooler in the middle. It's sliding. And we're falling around in
do anything more
chairs.
Florida and white trash than that. Sitting on patio chairs in a white van, drinking what, 90 ices?
We were drinking Michelob's and Michelob Lights, whatever it was. But
what do you
we were
think
smoking so much, smoking so much weed and shit. And then we were doing the guys doing donuts. We're trying to sit in the seat. And we finally parked. And they opened the door of the van, and smoke just comes out like a TV movie. And all these people were sitting in the parking lot. We were just standing there like, holy shit. That was funny. Concerts,
man. Do anything to go back to those days?
I remember even that concert was funny because my buddy Kirk, a big dude, he kept flirting with this chick in front of him, and that it was with her boyfriend. Halfway through the concert, my other buddy Pete looks down. He's holding the girl's hand. And she's with her boyfriend, and my buddy Kirk's holding her hand.
Sean, do you remember when we had Florentine on? And we've had him on a few times, and we were talking about exactly what we're talking about now: concerts and concert behavior. Do you remember doing this? Because I think he's the only one that kind of identified what I used to do. I mean, I was like a real dirtbag with my friends, and we would get like packs of firecrackers, right? You get the whole pack, tie the fuses together, light them up, and throw them up in the air, and hope that they would go off in the air before they would hit the ground. Did you ever do that at concerts?
No.
At an indoor arena. Then and then get like you remember like the little like the like little balls that were smoke bombs.
Yeah,
Light them, and then roll them down the aisles.
I don't know. I was trying to get fucking drunk and laid going to concerts, not set up the fucking sprinklers.
Yeah.
He used to bring packed firecrackers.
Here's my Jim Florentine. Yeah, that's a rookie move. That's a real rookie move.
Okay. Now, Doug, I think I know where you stand on this. I know you're a huge Bruce Springsteen fan.
Am I?
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're a big Bruce Springsteen fan. And Sean, you're a Springsteen fan too. What was your take on Springsteen's surprise appearance at a gig this past week where he had some choice words for the president?
We all know where he stands. Like, you're popping up and doing a show at the Count Basie in Red Bank, and you're fucking Bruce Springsteen. You're playing in front of maybe 3,000 people. Play fucking Thunder Road. Play Backstreets. Shut the fuck up, and stop bringing that shit up in music. I hate it with a passion.
Does it tarnish his reputation, or can do you think people could separate the music from?
Listen, I do know people who have stopped listening to him because he's gone way left.
Well, look how bad they're blaming his, sharing his ideology with the failure of the movie. I mean,
well, I'll tell you another reason why the movie sucked.
Yeah,
and I'm a Springsteen fanatic. I don't have a tattoo on this arm though, but I mean, I love him. I've seen him probably 15, 16 times already. And dude, it was just not a great movie. And my only problem with it was I love Jeremy Allen White as an actor. He's one of my favorite current actors. And the problem he kept doing is he would talk like this, and I would do my Bruce Springsteen voice like this. And then the next scene, he's just talking like this. Like he kept dipping in and out of accents, and it threw me off the whole movie.
See, I think I could have played Bruce. I would have been like, hey, Sean, I'd like you and your band to open up for me and the E Street Band. What do you say? Huh?
Spring gum.
I didn't get a SAG card for nothing. That's the type of
that's what's frightening. Jesus Christ.
Hey, Sean. Hey, Adam, you still there? That's not many.
I think I'm done with you for the night.
Doug, where can people find you? How can they follow you?
All my social media is at Dougie Dangerous. That's Doug Tripoli Dangerous. Follow me there. I had to revamp all of it. Lost thousands of followers and shit. And so I could use the following: Dougie Dangerous, Doug Tripoli Dangerous.
Guys, follow Dougie Dangerous, Dougie Almeida. Doug, thank you so much for coming on, man. This was fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I haven't done a podcast in a while, I'll be honest with you, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
nice.
It was good hanging. Guys, we'll be back next week with some more stuff. Sean, please, you got to post that video so we could see the full version.
I'm deleting it. I'm deleting it off your as we speak.
Are there any more hidden gems floating out there? We'll catch you next time, everybody. Thank you.